Hey guys, Connor Richards of PokerNews here, and this is Life Outside Poker. Jennifer, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I'm super excited to talk to you, even outside of poker.
Right.
This is exciting because this is an interview who I can, tell my whole family, and everyone's excited for a different reason. They either know you from Beverly Hills Housewives, or Family Guy,
right,
or Liar Liar, or so many different things. So there's a lot that I want to talk to you about, but of course, the reason that we're here is for this.
The One Step Closer Foundation,
Yes, this charity event that's happening here at Aria, Las Vegas. And this is actually an event that is, near and dear to your heart because your late husband, Sam Simon, was actually the co-founder of this. Talk about that.
Well, first of all, I want to say it's really nice to see you again, Connor, and always a pleasure talking to you. The One Step Closer Foundation, I love how the poker community really comes out and supports Jacob. It's a very personal charity to a lot of us. Jacob, I met through Sam Simon and also Norm Macdonald. He was kind of like their mascot. And they would talk about, Norm goes, I was coming back to the bathroom and Jacob's like, buddy, I told him you were on your way back. And so they saved your cards. And he said, I played the cards and I went out. He says, every time Jacob comes around, I bust out of the tournament because he said, I can't focus because he's standing behind me or sitting behind me. And every time I turn around, I feel his eyes on me, willing me to succeed. And I look around and he goes, I'm rooting for you, buddy. I'm rooting for you. So they love Jacob so much. And Sam said, Jacob Zalewski single-handedly wants to eradicate CP in his lifetime. And so Sam underwrote the first tournament, and he actually won the tournament and donated all the proceeds back to Jacob and the One Step Closer Foundation, which I thought was wonderful. And I wanted to win the tournament and donate the proceeds back too, just like Sam, in honor of Sam and also in honor of Jacob. And that happened last season. Last season, I weirdly won the tournament and I donated the proceeds back. So I think that's the spirit of giving, that the whole poker community comes out to support Jacob, and everybody does lots and lots of free buys, and everybody just really wants to make sure that his tournament is a big success every year.
Well, that's great that you were able to give back when you won it last year. You'll have another chance to do so with tonight's event.
Yes, I got to defend my crown.
There's lots of exciting people here. Talk about who we can expect tonight and who you're excited to play with.
Well, Montel Williams is here. Montel is a big poker fan and a big poker player. I mean, I see him at a lot of events at the WSOP, and he's always supported Jacob and the One Step Closer Foundation, which is nice because he's a really busy, important man. I know he has a lot of things going on. It's just nice to see him come year after year. I'm thinking Ray Romano is going to be here, and Ray Romano you always see him at the World Series of Poker. He's a very, very good poker player, and he did this movie called The Grand, where he played the wife of Cheryl Hines, who was sort of, the Kathy Liebert, really great female poker player, and his character felt a little emasculated by how successful she was, but he's a brilliant comedian. It's always nice to see him come out too. I'm not sure if we're going to see Ted Danson. He was here last year. A lot of times celebrities say they'll show up if they can. And then Jacob hopefully puts them all on the poster. Because I was like, I don't know. I mean, I might be filming Housewives. But the thing is, when he comes and he calls you personally, you're like, you know what, I'm going to do everything I can do to make it. And I don't live in Las Vegas, so it requires me getting on the old JSX and, going to my apartment and, but I'm really happy. I've managed to make it almost every year, so that's great.
And aside from this event, you really are one of poker's, biggest ambassadors for bringing the game to the public space, and you do a lot of these charity events.
Yeah.
Where we actually met was last year was at a one-drop charity event that you actually final tabled, and there was that,
Oh, right, the NASCAR one called charity, not one drop. Yes, that
big deal.
Guy La Liberté, he sponsored it, and I won first VIP seats in Montreal to the NASCAR, and also I won and to the VIP party and hotel rooms and everything, but I wasn't able to make it. So then they made it into VIP seats in Las Vegas, which is a lot easier to make. So you'll probably see me at the NASCAR in Las Vegas this year. But that was fun, and it's all for a good cause. But it's funny because you get really competitive. You start rebuy. You just want to keep playing. It doesn't matter if it's for a huge amount of money or for no money at all. You just don't want to bust out. You want to make the final table just because it's fun. And so, yeah, that was fun. And then one of the prizes was this beautiful set of like really sort of modern poker chips. And I actually ended up buying the set of poker chips as well. It's $5,000. They had good prizes because it was so beautiful. I thought, I really want that for my Las Vegas apartment. It's not really poker chips, it's art.
Yeah, that's the WPT Daniel Arsham poker set.
Yeah, that's why you know everything. But wasn't it gorgeous? It is.
Beautiful. I really like it. I like the color palette for sure.
But charity tournaments are so much fun. For example, this one, because you have the professional poker players like Jan Corneth and, everybody comes out. And then you also have the celebrities. And then you have the normal people. They're just like, oh, this looks like fun. And, and then everybody's drinking. Everyone's in a good mood. Well, not everyone's drinking, but a lot of people are drinking. It's more like a party than actual tournament poker. Like I'm getting ready to go into the WSOP. And that's kind of a drag. It's very rare and far between that you see somebody with thousands of dollars at stake with a beer in front of them. Although I do play on high stakes poker on a fairly regular basis, and a lot of times the drinks are flying on that show. But I think it's because it's not professional poker players. It's it's billionaires. They don't care. They're like, In fact, I was watching the other day and Rick Solomon took a hit and he goes, give me another $1 million. I aspire to be that person that takes a big hit and goes, give me another $1 million. So it's like, kind of like nothing to them. They just want to have a good time and be wild and crazy and outbluff their opponents.
These charity events are definitely a lot of fun, mix of celebrities, public members, so it should be an exciting night. So sticking on poker, this is actually the 20th anniversary of when you won a World Series of Poker bracelet.
Oh my God, it is. Time flies. Amazing.
It was in the 2005 ladies No Limit Hold'em event. You won it for $158,000. And that was your first WSOP cash. I don't know if it was the first WSOP event you played.
It was not the first one I played, but I was mostly at the World Series of Poker to support Phil, my boyfriend. Phil Laak, the Unabomber, a famous poker player in his own right. And Phil said to me, Jennifer, I think you should play the ladies event. He said, I think you might, have edge, you might have equity, because I was just starting out on my poker career. And so I did. And the women's event it started out on Mother's Day, and it was so the wives and girlfriends of the poker player could have their own little tournament. And usually it plays in one day. But over the years it had grown. Like the year before, they only had 200 people. And this year there was 601 people. I was the one person, I guess. And they were trying to play it in one day. And we were playing, and it got to be about 4 or 5 in the morning, and there was only a couple tables left. And some people were trying to get us to stop and finish playing the next day. But a lot of the girls just came out for that one day, and they had like a plane ticket the next morning, so they wanted to keep playing. But the executives were like, ooh, Bride of Chucky has a really good chance of winning this tournament because I had all the chips. And so they kind of wanted to see if they could find a table and some cameras and everything. And Phil was heads up with Johnny Chan for a bracelet, and that was Johnny Chan's, I forget. Johnny Chan ended up winning, but he was over there waiting for a table for Phil and Johnny Chan also to play heads up. And he came over and he was watching me, and I'd run over and I'd watch him. And then all of a sudden Phil said, hey, the 2 girls that wanted to play through are gone now, so maybe you guys can take a break and play tomorrow, which I love because I had a chance to go out and get my hair blow dried and put on a cute outfit because I was just wearing a poker playing outfit, which is my poker playing uniform. I try to look as much like the other poker players as possible. It's like sunglasses so they can't see my eyes, and ratty t-shirt and a ratty hoodie. So I got kind of dressed up. I put, just in case I won, I put on some little diamond rings and like a cute top and makeup and got my hair blown out. And it was sort of neck and neck. It was I got heads up between me and this little girl. I don't know if you know what her name is. She's a really good poker player. I don't remember her name because it was 20 years ago. But she was like my biggest nemesis because she was so smart. I mean, there's a lot of great smart poker players. But she went all in. We were almost equal in chips. I had a little bit more chips with her. She went all in, I remember, with King Queen offsuit, and I had A7, which is slightly better than king queen. If she doesn't hit a king or she doesn't hit a queen, then the ace high wins, and that's what happened. And then I won the tournament. It was amazing. I used to play this video game that my dad gave me. My dad, apparently, I found out after he passed away, had a poker problem. That's what they call poker problem. And it was called the World Series of Poker. I'm sure you're familiar with his game. Well, it's like a little cartoon game. You go to Las Vegas, and then if you win enough, you can play in the World Series of Poker. And one day I played that game for about 6 years, and one day I won the World Series of Poker on my little video game, and the screen filled up with money, little virtual gold bracelet on top of the money, and I was so thrilled. And I wrote in my journal that night, I write down things I want to manifest. One day I'll go to the real World Series of Poker, and I'll win a real gold bracelet. And so I felt like, wow, anything I want, I can have. That the first time I went to the World Series of Poker, I win a gold bracelet, which is very coveted in the poker world. I don't have to tell you. But then I had this idea that I was going to become the next Johnny Chan, the next Phil Laak. I was like, I'm so far behind in my poker career because I started at a very advanced age. And I wanted to win so many bracelets. And I wanted to go down in the Poker Hall of Fame. I had big plans. I want to be the there's Grandmaster in chess, Grandmaster of poker. And I really put my acting career on the back burner. My acting career was sort of faltering to a stop anyway, but I poured all my attention in poker. And Phil and I would follow the tournament circuit, which is, there's World Poker to World Series of Poker Europe. And then we go to Cannes and Dublin and France, everywhere. And what I found out, it's not so easy to win a gold bracelet. Like, I've been trying for 20 years and, so I have not won another one. But the last 5 or 6 years I've been off the grid because there was COVID, three summers I was doing the Chucky series. Then the year after that, I filmed Housewives in the summer. So this is going to be the first summer that I'm not working, hopefully. And I have big plans for the World Series of Poker. I've already looked at the little spreadsheet and decided which ones I want to play. And I'm really excited. I haven't been here since now it's over at Paris, I guess. Mm-hmm. I love the Rio because, I had my little special parking place, and, I knew all the places to go to eat. I loved how it's super cold. Everybody's complaining. In France, they don't, they're not big on air conditioning there, and it's terrible to be playing poker and you're sweating. And we're in Las Vegas, and everybody's like, oh, it's so cold in the Amazon room. It's like, yes, that's what fingerless gloves and a hoodie is for, because it keeps you awake. And now I gather in the new World Series of Poker venue, it gets quite warm, and there's nothing you can do. If it's cold, you can put on a sweater. If it's warm, you just sweat and you're unhappy. So, well, I'll see what it's like. But the great thing about the World Series of Poker is everybody's there. It's like summer camp. Your friends from Ireland, your friends from England, your friends from Canada. It's like, hail fellow, well met. And then a lot of people that I don't normally see, because now I'm more of an actress and less of a poker player. I always play in high stakes poker on TV on PokerGO. And Poker After Dark, they don't have that anymore. No gamble, no future. So I play sort of high-stakes cash games now. I haven't played in a tournament for quite a while. But I have to tell you, there's no bigger thrill when you look around and all of a sudden you realize there's only 3 tables left and you're one of them. I love when all the noise and clatter falls away and they're folding up the tables. And it's such a great feeling. I mean, it's a great feeling to win a tournament.
It was probably nice to have Phil there, talking you through it, helping you through, I don't know, ICM considerations, right, or giving you a game plan.
Well, he really didn't, because he knows I'm a doofus. And he would say, Jennifer, he'd say, you're surfing the Wa. And the Wa is apparently the great uncollective, the great consciousness. So he says, it's like you're snowboarding on the backside of a mountain. He says, you're going to do your own thing. He's not going to mess me up with, they didn't even have GTO back then. But he felt like I was in this sort of zone, and he didn't want to, interrupt that by giving me. And the thing is, being a winning player, and I've noticed this on high stakes poker, especially with those maniacs, it's not, you can't go by the GTO and win with those guys. You can't be Titus Wright because they're going all in. You know, they'll 4-bet you with 4-7 offsuit. You have to hold on to your ace jack, even though it's not GTO appropriate. So I think that was really smart of him. A lot of the girls at the final table had boyfriends. For example, Carlos Mortenson's girlfriend, who's a very good poker player, and she also had a little tiny dog with her. She was at the final table, and sometimes the boyfriends would come over, and then they'd say in a big announcement, "No advice from the boyfriends, one hand per player." But Phil would just be coming over to whisper, "You look cute in that outfit." That's the kind of thing. He wasn't giving me any advice at all. And sometimes Phil's advice messes me up. And now I won't take any advice from him. I'm like, you play your game. I'll play my game. I don't play the same way as you. Like, good. I have a way I like to play. I'm not going to play like you, Phil. So we have different ways we like to play. And it's very anxiety inducing for Phil. Like when I used to do Poker After Dark, for him to watch the live stream, like, oh no, oh my God, what is she doing? But sometimes it all works out in the end. Poker's a great game. And the great thing about it, you can make mistakes, but there's no way to play incorrectly. Everybody loves to play poker. A person that just started playing poker last week can win a hand over Doyle Brunson. I remember when they had the NBC Heads Up tournament, and I think there was a girl. I think she was the normal person. Like one normal person wins a contest. She was the normal person, and she was playing against Phil Ivey, and I think she ended up getting aces, and he got kings. And heads up. And then she knocked him out of the tournament. Wow. Is she better than Phil Ivey because she knocked him out of the tournament? No, but those kinds of things can happen. And that's what's great about poker. It's a great game.
So you and Phil are kind of probably the original premier poker couple. Mm-hmm. So talk about, how did you and Phil meet? And in that time, were you already a big poker player, or is that kind of when you got more serious with it?
Well, I thought I was a big poker player. You know, I had so much ego about my poker game. I mean, didn't I win the World Series of Poker on the little video game? Hey, I won that. So I used to love poker so much. And I had a boyfriend that had a regular Monday night poker game. I couldn't go. He's like, because you don't know how to play poker. So then he taught me how to play poker. And then I found I still couldn't go because it was boys' night. He didn't want me there. He didn't want me there. This is a game. He was an actor like David Schwimmer and all these people used to come before they were famous. Wow. And I got to go once. And then after that, it was not on the table anymore. They like to smoke big cigars and talk smack and drink whiskey. And, usually poker is a boys' night out. It's funny because I'll say so much like, how can we bring more women into poker? I think that's silly. First of all, it's intimidating for anybody to sit down at a poker table, go to the casino for the first time. But poker is not a game that a lot of women want to play. If they want to play, some of the greatest poker players in the world are like Kristen Foxen or Kathy Liebert, Lonnie Harwood. If they want to play, they'll play. You can't say we're going to bring more women into poker by, having cupcakes or sort of it's pink day at the casino, or there's great women poker players, but it's not a thing that women gravitate towards, because I believe in order to be a very good poker player, you need a lot of testosterone. And women, for the most part, to make a generalization, are nurturing and compassionate, and they're not into conflict. Men love conflict. That's why they start all the wars, all the wars in the world. The men are like, gosh, life's getting a little boring. Let's go out and conquer something. And you'll see a lot of pro athletes after they're no longer, in the football or baseball or whatever, they go towards poker, because poker it's like a war. It's like, it's a battle. And poker is also really great for your, it's really great for your brain. Like, at my advanced age, I worry about losing brain cells. Poker builds brain cells because you're always thinking. It's the greatest game in the world. And it's always in the moment. Do I go this way or do I go that way? Do I duck? Do I dodge? It's like going through a minefield laden with hand grenades. Tournaments are stressful because one bad decision and you're out. Cash games not so stressful because you can always reload. I mean, it's stressful if you're playing above your pay grade, which I have done a couple times, because then you can't reload. So I played on high stakes poker, was supposed to be the small high stakes poker, the $100,000 buy-in. And the guys playing the big high stakes poker, which is the $500,000 buy-in, they would play the first 3 days. They'd be stuck. They'd infiltrate our baby game, and then they start jacking up the stakes. So they'd kerplunk themselves down, put $500,000, $1 million on the table, and start saying, let's do straddles. Let's make the straddles mandatory. Hey, why don't we just make this 200, 500 game? Pretty soon, you're playing a game that you're not properly rolled for. You are literally playing a game where you need 3 bullets each of 300,000 instead of, I would have $300,000, 3 bullets of 100,000. It's like you're sitting there with your 100,000. It's like a little baby stack, and you're protecting it, because a lot of the guys I play with, like one of the guys, he invented DoorDash, and and then Shamal Papatia, and all these people, like literally, you're literally playing with billionaires, and they laugh. They laugh at your tiny little stack of 100,000. And, it looks really small if you have 325. You rebuy and you get $325 chips, just literally that tall, $25,000 chips. But I was playing poker for years before Phil, and I had my Friday night poker game with my friends, but it was limit, it's a baby game. We bought in for $20. And then whenever I was on the set, I always teach all the other actors how to play poker, and we play poker, and I play with the Teamsters from my per diem, the money they give you to live off of. Instead of buying hot dogs and hamburgers, I'm taking the Teamsters money. But I met Phil at the celebrity poker tournament. And I came in all because a lot of celebrities go to these tournaments and play on, there was that Bravo Poker Showdown. They can't even spell poker to quote Phil Hellmuth. They don't even know what poker is. They don't know a straight. They're like, wait a minute, hold on. A straight beats a flush. Wait, does a flush be what? Okay, but three of a kind. They don't even know. So they hired Phil and Antonio, and this was before Phil was a celebrity poker player, to teach the celebrities how to play poker. And I came in and I saw Dave Foley, who I hadn't seen since we did The Wrong Guy. And I always had a little bit of a crush on him. I kerplunked myself down to talk to Dave. And Phil goes, he said later on, oh my God, there's that girl. I really I think he saw me on David Letterman. So he came over. He remembered I was talking to Ron Livingston from Sex and the City, but I don't remember I was talking to Ron Livingston. I remember I was talking to Dave because I was so happy to see him after all these years. And Phil was coming over and he's like, hey, do you want me to teach you guys how to play some poker? And I'm like, I know how to play poker. Why don't you go talk to that Baywatch babe over there? I don't even think she knows pocket kings beats pocket sevens. So anyway, when I was going around the tournament, he kept showing up like, hi, Jennifer, it's me, Phil. And I'm like, okay, all right. I knew he had a thing for me. At the end of the night, he comes up all anxious and he goes, hey, Jennifer, how can I get a hold of you again? And I told him what I tell everyone. I said, give me your phone number and, I'll call you. Because, I have to give my phone number out to random people, especially somebody called the Unabomber. So I guess I've been drinking a little bit. I got home. I reached in my pocket. I had all these crumpled up pieces of paper. I was like, who are all these people? And I just threw them all away. So about 4 months later, Phil ran into me at another celebrity poker tournament, this time at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. And he and Antonio were checking in. And I went, there's that guy that likes me and his friend. I just, when people like you. It's like, hi, Jennifer. Hi. Remember me? It's Phil Laak. So anyway, Phil said he went to dinner. I had all the chips. And he thought for sure I'd be back when he came back from dinner. And he was horrified to see I was gone. He doesn't understand it. Poker is a very volatile game. And I'm not exactly Phil Ivey. So anyway, I wanted to play more poker, and I ended up going to the Bellagio. Phil had a plane at 4:00 in the morning, and he couldn't sleep. He thought, I'll just go down and play a little poker. And he's like, there's that girl. And he came and he sat behind me, and he's talking to me the whole time. And then he said he always had in his mind what he would say if I said, give me your phone number, because then he had a rejoinder. So he goes, hey, he had to leave for his plane. How can I get a hold of you again? I go, give me your phone number. I'll give you a call sometime. He goes, that's what you said last time. I so embarrassed that I couldn't remember. I didn't even remember taking his phone number. He goes, tell you what, how about you give me your phone number? Because it's only 3% you'll call me, but it's 100% I'll call you. Well, I couldn't argue with logic. Also, I was so embarrassed that I didn't remember saying that before, that I actually gave him my real phone number. And sure enough, it was 100% he called me. But he said later on, so embarrassing, because he said a bunch of his guy friends were there at the poker table, and they were all looking like, oh my God, we've never seen this before. Phil is hitting on a girl. And so he'd memorized the thing he was going to say, but he was kind of embarrassed to like choke it out.
Well, good on Phil for being so persistent.
He is very persistent. I think it's going on 22 years later. The greatest guy in the world. I don't have to tell you, he's like a fantastic guy. And, you know, he did teach me how to play much better poker until I got so good I didn't need his advice anymore. But yeah, it's been a great 20 odd years.
So one question my colleague John wanted me to ask is if you've ever played Phil heads up.
I have. We used to play when he was teaching me, but now he doesn't like to ever play at a table with me. And sometimes it's unavoidable because he'll be at somebody's house, like Antonio or whatever. A game will break out. Once we all went on a yacht, Phil and Antonio and some poker players, and we played around the clock. I mean, the yacht would stop at like Saint-Tropez. The girlfriends would all get off and go shopping. We'd just be playing poker. And there's one guy, every time he lost a hand, which is very often because he's terrible, he'd grab the cards and he'd rip them up and he'd throw them overboard. We got down to where he only had one deck of cards. We're like, you cannot rip up these cards. It's the only deck we have left. But he doesn't like to play together because it doesn't matter, whatever. People always say, oh, collusion. So, and if we are at a table, because sometimes there's not enough people that want to play at that stakes, he would say, guys, and I'm very competitive. I don't mind to beat Phil. But he goes, guys, if Jennifer and I ever get in hand, we're just going to check it down because I don't like to win a hand off my girl, and I don't like when she wins a hand off of me. That can look like collusion. We did one episode of PokerGO where we were playing together, and the theme was poker sweethearts. So it was me and Phil and I forget who. It was three groups or four groups of poker couples playing. So that was a different thing. But we usually do not like to play together at all. And heads up, we haven't played heads up forever. We used to play gin a lot, though. He taught me how to play gin, and that's a really fun game. Okay, I'm gonna take a little, because now I have acidy tummy and I have to take a Tums. I'm under so much stress these days.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But after I have Tums, I'll feel just so much better.
Perfect.
All right. Tums and some, I think this is Excedrin. Tums and Excedrin. And now you know all my pill habits. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. I'll take these and then we'll continue on our journey of my life. But anyhow, I'm really looking forward to rejoining the poker community this summer, getting my poker stats up. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, I used to be the top 15 of female earners, but like I said, there's so many great poker players, female poker players now. I think I've dropped down. I know I've dropped down. But when you look at the in the mob, it's like, I think the top person is like 68 million. I think Antonio used to be number 3 with the 18 million that he won in the one drop. But everybody got rich off of crypto. The games are insane now. And, you know, the tournaments are the $100,000 tournament. Obviously, the one that Phil played was not Phil, Antonio's a $1 million buy-in tournament. This summer when I'm looking at the games, like I'll play 5K, 1K, 25K is the highest I think I'll play, because the variance is crazy. Like, what are you going to buy him for $100,000 and, you know, get kings versus aces or aces versus kings and he spikes a king? You're out $100,000. So I think I'm just I like playing mostly the 6 max or 8 max because I'm an action player and I always think everyone's bluffing, and people actually are bluffing a lot more shorthanded. I'm used to playing shorthanded when I play on high stakes poker. Like, I enjoy seven people or 6 people the most.
Yeah. Well, we're certainly excited to see more of you at the World Series of Poker. So you mentioned that you're getting back into poker, kind of semi-retired from acting.
Yeah.
Talk about the things going on. You did Chucky for so long, and then last September the show got canceled. Yeah. So That's definitely disappointing there, but yeah, what happened
Yeah,
there?
well, Chucky is an amazing. I love it. People think, oh, Chucky is the crazy little goofy doll from the 80s that stabs people, but Don Mancini, who created Chucky, is a wonderful writer. We had the greatest crew, most beautiful cinematography, wonderful writing. The character I played, Tiffany, was very haunting, kind of melancholy character, and also very campy and silly. So she was possibly one of the best written characters I've played in my lifetime, which sounds so crazy because I'm basically playing, it was very meta. I'm playing a little plastic doll. First, she was, in its inception 25 years ago, she was a white trash girl that went into a doll. And then in Seed of Chucky, she's Jennifer Tilly's biggest fan. Jennifer Tilly's biggest fan, because she saw Jennifer Tilly playing her in the Hollywood version, movie version of the Chucky saga. So she went into Jennifer Tilly's body. So now she's been living in Jennifer Tilly. Are you keeping up at home, kids? She's been living in Jennifer Tilly's body for like the last 20 years, having the most fabulous movie star life. There was an episode that was so deranged and bonkers where I had all my real friends on the show, Gina Gershon and Joey Pantoliano were on. We did an homage to Bound, which is one of Don Mancini's favorite movies, the creator. And then my sister Meg Tilly played my sister Meg Tilly. She can't understand why her sister Jennifer is behaving so strange, and then killed her, very satisfied. And then Sutton Strack from Housewives, Real Housewives, who is one of my besties in real life, came on the show and played Sutton Strack, and she was a natural. It's the first time she ever acted. She was adorable. She was really cute. So now, it was what happened. We had a strike. We did half the season, 4 episodes, and then this ridiculous strike that went on for 5 or 6 months. And so the studio decided to throw the first 4 episodes out there, but we weren't allowed to promote it, so no one knew when it was out. So the ratings dropped. And then we did the last 4 episodes, and then the studio decided to cancel Chucky, which is crazy because we were 100% on the tomato meter. Like, it got rave reviews. Well, you never know. So all of a sudden I was looking at a big, long, empty summer, because every summer I go to Toronto and film Chucky, like my favorite thing to do. And they'd been asking me to do Real Housewives for a really long time. And it's just not done. If you're a working actress, you know, there are some actresses that are on Housewives, but, you know, they're like soap opera or, you know, sort of have active. To be a working actress and do Chucky, it's not done. Not Chucky to do Housewives, but I've been a Housewives super fan for 15 years. Love the show. Just thought, oh, it'd be so fun to be on the show. And I thought, why not? Like, who am I, Kate Blanchett? Like, of my esteemed career. They'll never ask me to play Lady McBee if I'm on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. It's like, Jennifer, no one's ever going to ask Bride of Chucky to play Lady McBee either. It's like, why are you being so precious? So I ended up doing Housewives. It was the most insane roller coaster ride of my life. And also, too, when I was confronted with, I thought, you know, at the end of your life, you're going to wish that you did Housewives just for fun. And I'm right at the point in my life where I'm just saying yes to everything. So it was crazy. I'm not sure if I want to do another season because basically the drama comes out of everybody behaving badly. As a professional actress, I'm taught to behave well. And as a very nice person, I don't like to hurt people's feelings. So I think I'm not cut out to be a housewife, but I did enjoy wearing my cute outfits on screen. And then, you know, when everyone was screaming, I'd be sitting in the corner thinking, maybe I can say something funny right now. The only problem is the girls never laughed at my jokes. And this is what I found out. If you're funny by yourself, are you really funny? It's like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there, does it make a sound? When I'm with my gay friends and I say something funny and they laugh and laugh and then they say something funnier and then I top that, that's the best evening in the world. When you're with a bunch of people that do not really have a sense of humor, maybe they're not listening because they're so upset, you say something funny and nobody laughs. It's just kind of like, I'm like, I know I'm funny. I kind of think I'm funny. That's why on sitcoms, they used to have laugh tracks to show the audience when something is funny. Yeah. Somebody would say something and the laugh track would be like, wah, ha, ha, ha. And then you're watching at home going, wow, they're laughing so hard. I should probably laugh too. That's got to be something funny that person just said. So it's kind of not my cup of tea. I do love all those ladies, but I'm not sure if that's the career path for me. But I know the fans really like me on the show, so we'll see.
Yeah, my sister Olivia is a watches that show religiously.
Yeah.
And so I know she's going to be excited that I'm talking to you.
Oh,
so she'll be sad about that.
That's so sweet. We have to take a picture for your sister Olivia.
We'll take a photo for her for sure. So now that you have...
I do love, with the Housewives, I have a whole new fan base, because when people used to recognize me, there was 7 out of 10 people recognized me for Chucky, and weirdly, 3 out of 10 people would recognize me from poker. So I have a big gay following. I have all the goth, the disenfranchised goth kids from Chucky, 15 to 25-year-old. And now with Housewives, I have a lot of women my own age that are fans, which is really very gratifying. I also have the lesbian crowd from Bound. So, it's nice to have a new type of fan base.
Yeah, well, there's 2 of me there. I'm the disenfranchised goth because I love horror, and then also poker, of course.
Right.
So what I was going to ask is, now that you have ventured into reality TV, a lot of poker players get into those strategy-based shows like Survivor, Traders.
Right.
Are we ever going to see you on something like that?
I think not, because I don't like conflict. Survivor, no, I like my snacks too much. I don't think I would enjoy being on an island eating bugs, But it would be great to lose weight. Like, Phil and I, the show we love so much is Alone, because they really are out there. When you see Naked and Afraid, you're like, well, if they get bit by a python, obviously the camera crew is going to rush them to the nearest hospital. But Alone is, they're just out there with their little cameras. And, but when I was watching, I was trying to lose weight for Chucky, and it's like, oh my God, it's possible to lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Why can't I do it? And I guess if you only have one little teeny tiny mouse every 4th day, you're going to lose weight. So, but the strategy games like Traders, I know everybody loves Traders. I just don't think I would enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy going against my fellow cast member.
No, that makes sense. It is pretty confrontational and all that. So, of course, there's so many things in your career that we could talk about, but another big one is you voicing Bonnie Swanson on Family Guy. That's been going on forever.
Jeez, I think I started doing that 1998.
Wow.
I did it. I actually auditioned for the part of the mom. I don't really watch the show.
Lois, yeah.
Lois. I auditioned for Lois and I didn't get it. And then a few months later, they called and they asked me if I could be Bonnie. I wish I got Lois. The regular cast members make so much money. Last I heard, and this is about 10 years ago, they're making $500,000 an episode. And when you're the guest star, you basically make scale. Hey. And I've been the guest star for 30 years. So I did it. I did a year. And then a couple of years went by and they called up and they go, oh, they want you to come in and do some more Bonnie. I was like, what? Didn't that get canceled 2 years ago? And what happened was it got canceled. And then they put it out on DVD. It was at the very top, the highest selling DVD for months and months and months. So now, 30 years later or whatever it's been, the rest is history. I love the Family Guy family. The writing is so smart and sharp. And the great thing about voiceover, you never age out of the part. I mean, I've been doing Bonnie forever, So, that show, they just got picked up for, I think they picked them up for 3 seasons or something. And the same with The Simpsons, which my ex-husband did The Simpsons. And I guess everyone knows I have a little piece of The Simpsons now. That show is going to go on forever also. And a little known factoid, I came very close to playing the mom on that show. What's the name?
Marge.
Julie Kavner's part. Marge. Yes. She did not want to do it because she wanted to go back to New York. Sam had an idea that everybody should be recording at the same time, like a radio play. And they finally made a special deal with her that they made with nobody else, that she could record wherever she was. She did not have to be in LA. But on Friday, they weren't going to make a deal. And Sam gave me the script. He goes, Jeffrey, you can do Marge. Why don't you come on? I was supposed to go in on Monday. So all weekend long, I'm like, Homer, walking around like, that's not nice, Bart. Oh, I'd be so rich too. Those people are getting like $1 million an episode and that's for years and years and years and years. So I had 2 very, very close calls, doing the matriarchs of these very lucrative series. But I'm very happy to be part of Family Guy.
But that is interesting. You mentioned The Simpsons that your late husband co-founded. So you really do have
Yes.
have a role in two of the biggest cartoon shows of all time.
And it's so funny because my mom would never let us watch cartoons with me. She thought cartoons were vulgar. She hated Walt Disney. She'd say he takes a beautiful fairy tale and makes it into a vulgar cartoon. So even like Family Guy, I never watched it. And every year they give me the whole year, and I give it to my publicist who loves Family Guy. And one day I heard Phil laughing and laughing and laughing. I go, "What are you laughing at?" He goes, "Oh, this show, my friend Joel McHale." Joel McHale said, "I have to watch this show." And I came in, I went, "Wait a minute. I'm on that show. Oh, I think I might be coming in really soon." And then all of a sudden my character comes in and says something. I go, "That's me." So that was very gratifying. I've watched some episodes since then. It's very fun.
Did you expect Simpsons to become as big as it did?
No,
like really the biggest show of all time?
Sam repeatedly would say, "We're going to do once here. It's probably going to be one season over and out." It was the fledgling Fox network. In the beginning, they only aired 3 nights a week. So, and I remember Sam goes, "Oh no, this is going to be our lead-in," and it was In Living Color, and we watched it. We thought it was awful, but then In Living Color was a big hit. Then they moved The Simpsons opposite The Cosby Show, which was a juggernaut. Sam's like, "They really want us to fail," but it managed to survive. But Sam really felt like it was just going to be one season. And that's when they didn't have primetime cartoons. I remember us trying to keep Sam from doing it because he had been offered his own deal, multi-million-dollar deal at Hollywood Pictures, which was at the time very trendy. And I said, I think it was Hollywood Pictures. And I said, "Sam, don't you want to be your own person and do your own shows?" Because The Simpsons was under the aegis of Jim Brooks, who was a father figure to Sam. And Jim, when Sam does things for Jim, Jim gets all the credit. Like, Jim Brooks, the genius, he does it again. And for a long time, Sam's accomplishments in The Simpsons were buried. He brought in all the writers, fleshed out all the characters, and he didn't get any credit because here's the good story. Weirdo, cartoonist, hits it big. That's Matt Groening. He's not a weirdo, but that was the headline. Oh, he's strange cartoonist who used to have a cartoon in LA Weekly, and now he's a gazillionaire. And then the other story was Jim Brooks does it again. Meanwhile, Sam is doing all the grunt work, So yes, it's true. I did try to keep him from doing The Simpsons. I'm very glad that I didn't. But Sam's a genius, and he created something that people are going to be watching, I believe, 50 years from now. So it was a great contribution. People love The Simpsons.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I was actually on The Simpsons as myself. I was little Lisa plugs in poker. She wants to play poker.
Yes,
so
I saw that.
Yeah, make some money for college. And I'm sure Lisa could because she's really smart. And I was the poker instructor. And then Chucky comes up. And I mostly did it so I could get like not a gift, a picture of Chucky, me and Chucky in cartoon form to give to Don Mancini, because I knew Chucky comes up and he's like, "It's time for me to get back to the Chucky set." And he's like, "Time is money." And I think I said something like, "No, money is money." And then also Seth MacFarlane put a reference to my gambling in Family Guy. We had this great big adventure. And then Bonnie is leaving the room, and someone says, "Bonnie, are we going to see you again?" She goes, "Yeah, I guess so. I got to do this voiceover work to pay for my gambling addiction." And I'm like, "Seth, I can't believe you put that in my life." But it was very clever and funny.
Well, I could talk to you all day about so many different things, but we've got this event starting soon, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Just a few more general questions that I like asking guests is, I like asking for book recommendations, but given that you work in Hollywood, maybe a movie or TV show recommendation is better.
Well, I love The Righteous Gemstones.
Yes.
It's so disgusting and dark, and I'm a huge Danny McBride fan. And this season, they started it with a standalone episode, which is the Civil War. Like, insane. So beautiful. Could be an independent film directed by Danny McBride. He's not even in it. And starring Bradley Cooper, who worked for nothing because he just loved the script, loves Danny. It's a beautiful, beautiful episode. It's so haunting. So we love that. Mostly we watch poker on TV. We watch, Phil, my boyfriend, he does a live stream Wednesday and Thursday night. So we'll go over it. And I think he's just trying to teach me something in spite of myself. He'll be like, well, I didn't play that because I'm, under the gun and I would not play that. And, I'm not closing the auction. He says stuff like that. He's like hoping it'll trickle in because I play higher stakes than him, but he's way better than me. So he's like, when he watches me, he's like, oh, yeah, didn't I teach this girl anything? Like I said, we like watching alone. We used to love watching The Bachelor. We've kind of gone off that, but we like watching regular people do stupid things. So I guess that's what I would say. That would be my recommendation. Righteous Gemstones.
That's great. Righteous Gemstones is hilarious. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen the new Civil War episode, so I'll have to check that out. Okay, last question. I like asking guests for their favorite life lesson from poker. It's such a game that applies to so many other aspects of life. So what is your favorite life lesson from poker?
My life lesson for poker is you have to be alert at any given time. Like sometimes I'm haunted by stories of people, they go through the intersection, they're broadsided. I'm like, wow, what if they took one minute longer to make sure the door was locked? Or, if they just checked a little bit or if they left them 1 minute earlier, they would still be alive. Mm-hmm. And that's what poker is like. It's like, lots of times you'll get knocked out of the tournament because somebody doesn't come back in time to play their big blind, or somebody raises when they shouldn't have raised. And if they hadn't raised, you would still be in the pot. Just you see all these near misses. I'd say in poker to be alert at all times and maintain your equilibrium. Like I play high stakes poker and you can lose a huge pot and then 15 minutes later win a pot that's even bigger than the huge pot that you lost. And in poker, especially in cash games, everything's interconnected. People see you make a big bluff and now they think you're super bluffy. Now you get paid off when you're not bluffing. So everything's interconnected. But poker is really about being in the moment and not being in the moment before. If you're brooding about the hand you've fucked up, excuse my French. If you're brooding about the hand you screwed up 5 minutes earlier, now you're missing an opportunity now to win a hand here in the moment. So it's very much about being present, and that's what life is. A big life lesson, I think, is to be present in all moments and not think like, oh, I should have done this in the past, or, I would love to do this I guess it's okay to say, I want to do this in the future, but it's most important to be in the now. I also want to say, which your viewers might know, is that a couple years ago I was inducted into the Women's Poker Hall of Fame, which I'm very proud of, to be in that group of illustrious women. And I believe I deserve it. I'm one of the few women that play high stakes poker. But my goal is to get in the real Poker Hall of Fame. I don't know. I don't know if that's possible because they don't induct that many people. But, if Wild Bill Hickok can get in that, he's only famous for holding aces and eights when he's shot in the back. I feel like the Poker Hall of Fame should be more about fame, as I think that should be a big part of it, as opposed to being the greatest there ever was. For example, I know they were really trying to keep Chris Moneymaker out for a really long time. I'm like, how can you keep Chris Moneymaker out? He had an effect named after him, the Moneymaker effect. There's nobody more famous than Chris Moneymaker. He is responsible to millions of people surging towards poker. You have to acknowledge that. Maybe he's not the greatest poker player in the world. And who can say, how can you measure what the greatest poker player in the world is? I think a lot of it is just tooting your own horn. I think Full Tilt really sort of created a legend around all the people who played in Full Tilt poker. But he is a damn fine poker player. I played against him, and I'm telling you, he's not one of the people I want to go up against. So that's my goal in the future, get into the real Poker Hall of Fame. Not sure how I'm going to do it, but I think I got to start getting my stats up. And, maybe I'll do something monumental, like win the main event. It can be done. Yeah,
there's a notorious backlog in the Hall of Fame, but I think you certainly meet all the criteria as it is, even without, the next big thing. Oh, you're so sweet.
Thank you. But it's a pipe dream for sure.
Well, yeah. It would be great to see you in there. So, yeah.
Always good to have something to lean towards, like for myself, I'm always like, well, I want to win an Oscar. I want to win an Oscar. I want to win a Tony. I want to win an Emmy, might never happen, but it's good to have a template for your life going forward, what you want to work towards. So Absolutely. That's what I'm going to work towards now. I don't want to be in the Real Housewives Hall of Fame. I don't even know if there is one, but
Hey. Well, Jennifer, this was a huge honor. Thank you so much for doing this, and good luck in the tournament tonight.
Nice talking to you again, Connor. Bye.